Hi, it's Alan Begg here again from McMaths. Welcome to this week's lesson. We're going to be continuing on the summer season of Odd One Out quizzes. 20 questions, 4 options. Can you spot the odd one out and why? We'll go through the 20 questions without giving away the answers. You can pause to work them out, note them down, or repeat. At the end of the 20 questions, we'll go over the 20 answers. Good luck. Here we go. Question 1. A. 1. B. 5. C. 11. D. 23. Can you spot the odd one out and why? Question 2. A. 7. B. 14. C. 21. D. 29. Question 3. A. 18. B. 27. C. 35. And D. 45. Question 4. A. 4. B. 9. C. 16. D. 26. Just press pause if you need a little bit more time. Question 5. A. Sheep. B. Fish. C. Cow. D. Deer. What's the odd one out and why? Question 6. A. 2/10. B. 3/15. C. 10/12. D. 5/25. What's the odd one out from these 4 fractions and why? Question 7. A. 4 times 9 plus 4 equals 40. B. 20 divided by 4 times 8 equals 40. C. 2 squared times, open brackets, 3 plus 7, close brackets, equals 40. D. 1 plus 3 plus 6 times 4 equals 40. This is a BODMAS question. What's the odd one out from these 4 calculations and why? Question 8. Question A. 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 equals 18. B. 90 divided by 3 minus 2 equals 28. C. 2 squared plus 14 divided by 2 times 5 equals 39. And D. 5 plus 2 times 3 squared equals 63. Remember, you can pause if you need a little bit more time for these BODMAS style questions. Question 9. A. This shape. B. This shape. C. This shape. And D. This shape. What's the odd one out from these 4 two-dimensional shapes and why? Question 10. We're halfway there. A. This shape. B. This shape. C. This shape. And D. This shape. What's the odd one out from these 4 triangles and why? Question 11. A. Big. B. Small. C. Huge. D. Enormous. What's the odd one out from these 4 words, these 4 adjectives, and why? Question 12. A. Talking. B. Walked. C. Ran. D. Threw. What's the odd one out from these 4 verbs and why? Question 13. A. 1/4 plus 1 3/4 equals 2. B. 12/14 plus 4/14 plus 10/14 equals 2. C. 7/8 plus 5/8 plus 4/8 equals 2. And D. 2/3 plus 1/6 plus 7/6 equals 2. What's the odd one out from these 4 sums of equations and why? Remember, you can pause if you need a little bit more time. Question 14. A. Basis. B. Bases. C. Bases. D. Braces. What's the odd one out from these 4 words and why? Question 15. A. 11. B. 19. C. 21. And D. 23. Question 16. A. 2/8. B. 25%. C. 1/4. And D. 6/8. What's the odd one out and why? Question 17. A. Smell. B. Touch. C. Sweet. D. Sight. What's the odd one out and why? Question 18. A. Humans. B. Cats. C. Bats. D. Bears. What's the odd one out and why? Question 19. A. Canada. B. Germany. C. France. And D. Italy. What's the odd one out from these four countries and why? Last question. Question 20. A. Rome. B. Glasgow. C. London. D. Paris. What's the odd one out from these four cities and why? That's the 20 questions completed. Pause now or rewind if you want to reflect and double check. If you're confident, let's look at the answers. Here we go. Question 1 was A1, B5, C11, D23. The odd one out here was 1 because 1 is not a prime number. The definition of a prime number is a number that's only divisible by 1 and itself, whereas 1 can only be divided by 1 and 1, and 1 are not two different numbers. Prime number has to be divisible by two different numbers, 1 and itself. That's the reason why 1 is not a prime number. Question 2. 7, 14, 21 and 29. What did you think for this one? That's right, it's 29. It's a question about multiples and indeed multiples of 7. 7, 14 and 21 are divisible by 7. 29 is not a multiple of 7. Question 3. 18, 27, 35 and 45. The odd one out here was 35, and the common thread of A, B and D was that they are multiples of 3. 3 15s are 45. Not in the classical 3 times table, 1 to 12, but you've got to be aware of more numbers that are divisible by 3 other than just 1 times 3 through to 12 times 3. Question 4. 4, 9, 16 and 26. Quite a tricky one, this. The answer was 26 because the other three numbers are triangular numbers. A triangular number is a square number. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. 26 is not a square. Question 5. Sheep, fish, cow and deer. What was the odd one out here from these 4 types of animals? Well, the answer was cow, and it was more a grammatical question than a question about the genus of the animals. And the reason for it being cow is that cow is the singular and cows would be the plural, whereas sheep, fish and deer is the same word for both plural and singular. So 1 sheep, 2 sheep, whereas it's 1 cow, 2 cows. Question 6. 2 tenths, 3 15ths, 10 twelfths and 5 25ths. What was the odd one out from these 4 fractions and why? The answer was 10 twelfths, and the reason for that is that all the other 3 can be simplified to 1/5, 1 over 5. 2 over 10, 3 over 15 and 5 over 25 can be ultimately simplified to 1 over 5, 1/5. 2 over 10 cannot. Question 7. Question 7 was a BODMAS question. A. 4 times 9 plus 4 equals 40. 20 divided by 4 times 8 equals 40. 2 squared times, open brackets, 3 plus 7 equals 40. And D. 1 plus 3 plus 6 times 4 equals 40. Which one of these BODMAS questions was the odd one out and why? So it was D, because D actually is incorrect. D using BODMAS does not equal 40. All the other ones do equal 40. So BODMAS, you would do in this formula here, you would do the multiplication first. 4 times 9 equals 36. 36 plus 4 equals 40. This one here, you have division and multiplication, which are on the same level of order. So you would do left to right. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. 5 times 8 equals 40. So that's correct. Then this one here, you would do the square first. You would do square and roots first. 2 squared equals 4. Then you would do the brackets. 3 plus 7 equals 10. 4 times 10 equals 40. This one here, you would do the multiplication first. 6 times 4 equals 24, plus 3, 27, plus 1 equals 28. It does not equal 40. If you weren't using BODMAS, you may think it's 1 plus 3 equals 4 plus 6 equals 10 times 40 times 4 equals 40, which would be incorrect. That would not be the correct answer. That's not using BODMAS. So the incorrect answer from these 4, the odd one out, is D. D does not equal 40. D in fact equals 28. Question 8 is also a BODMAS question. 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 equals 18. 90 divided by 3 minus 2 equals 28. 2 squared plus 14 divided by 2 times 5 equals 39, and 5 plus 3, 2 times 3 squared equals 63. The answer here was D, because D was incorrect. Let's review the correct ones. All additions, so just work left to right. 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 5 is 10, plus 8 is 18, so that's correct. This one here, you do division first. 90 divided by 3 is 30, minus 2 equals 28. This one here, you do the power, you do the square first. 2 squared equals 4. Then you do division or multiplication. And in this case, we've got division and multiplication. So you just do left to right. So you've got 4 here, so leave that alone. And then you've got 14 divided by 2, which is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. So you got 4 plus 35 equals 39. So that one's correct. This one here, you've got powers. So you do that first. 3 squared is 9. Then you've got multiplication. So you've got 2 times 9 is 18. Plus the 5 equals 23, not 63. It is not 5 plus 2 equals 7 times 9 equals 63. That is not correct. Question 9. The shape, the shape, the shape, the shape. What was the odd one out from these 4 two-dimensional shapes, and why? It was A, and the reason for that is that B, C and D have all got 4 sides. They are quadrilaterals, whereas A is a 3-sided two-dimensional shape, which of course are called triangles. Question 10. A was this triangle, B was this triangle, C was this triangle, and D was this triangle. What was the odd one out from these 4 triangles, and why? The answer was D. The reason for that is that D is an obtuse triangle. All the other 3 are acute. Acute triangle means that all 3 angles, internal angles on the triangle, are less than 90 degrees, whereas on an obtuse triangle it has 1 angle greater than 90 degrees and 2 angles less than 90 degrees. Irrespective of whether it's a right angled triangle or an obtuse triangle or an acute triangle, the sum of the 3 internal angles would be 180 degrees. Question 11. Big, small, huge and enormous. What was the odd one out from these 4 adjectives, and why? Yep, that's right. The answer was small. The reason for that is that big, huge and enormous describe the same thing. They're synonyms. They're different words, but they have the same meaning. Question 12. Talking. Walked, ran and threw. So the odd one out from these 4 verbs was talking. The reason for that is that talking is the present tense, whereas walked, ran and threw are past tense. Just be careful that ran and threw are irregular verbs. To run and to throw are irregular verbs, whereas to walk is a regular verb. Question 13. A quarter plus 1 3/4 equals 2. 12/14 plus 4/14 plus 10/14 equals 2. 7/8 plus 5/8 plus 4/8 equals 2. And 2/3 plus 1/6 plus 7/6 equals 2. Which was the odd one out here from these four sums of equations? One of them obviously doesn't equal 2, and that would be B. B does not equal 2. So you got 12/14, 4/14, 10/14. So 14 on the denominator is common. So you can just add up the numbers on the top, the numerator. 12 plus 4 equals 16 plus 10 equals 26. So you've got 26 over 14. So to simplify that to 1 and 12/14, it does not equal 2. And you can further simplify 1 and 12/14 to 1 and 6/7. Question 14. Bases. 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 Braces. What's the odd one out from these four words and why? It was D. Braces. The reason for that is that the other three are homonyms. Different words with different meanings, but they sound the same. Basis, bases, bases. They sound very similar, but they've got different spellings and three different meanings. Homonyms. Question 15. 11, 19, 21 and 23. The odd one out here was 21 because the other three numbers are prime. They're prime numbers. 21 can be divided by 1, 3 and 7. Any number that can be divided by more than 1 and itself is not a prime number. Question 16. 2/8, 25%, a quarter and 6/8. What was the odd one out and why? The odd one out here was 6/8 because all the others are equal to 1/4, a quarter. 2/8 can be simplified to 1/4, a quarter. 25% is the percentage of a quarter, and obviously a quarter is how you would write 1/4 in words. 6/8 is 3/4. Question 17. Smell, touch, sweet and sight. What was the odd one out here and why? Bit of a tricky one, this one. Slight curveball. But the answer was sweet. The reason for it being sweet is that the other three are types of senses. Smell, touch and sight are types of senses. Taste would be another type of sense. Question 18. Humans, cats, bats and bears. From the animal kingdom, which was the odd one out from these 4 options, and why? So the answer here is bats. The reason for that is that humans, cats, bats and bears are all mammals, but bats can fly. Humans, cats and bears, of course, cannot fly. Thank goodness bears can't fly. Question 19, the penultimate question. Canada, Germany, France and Italy. What was the odd one out from these 4 countries and why? 3 of these countries have something in common that the other one does not. The answer was Canada, because Germany, France and Italy are in Europe, whereas Canada is a country in North America. Different continents. On to the last question. Rome, Glasgow, London and Paris. What was the odd one out from these 4 major cities? It was Glasgow. Rome, London and Paris are all capital cities. Glasgow is not a capital city despite it being the biggest city in Scotland. The biggest city in each country is generally the capital city, but not always. How did you get on with this week's odd one out quiz? I'm sure you got 20 out of 20. Perhaps not. If you got any value from this, please like it, share it, and think about subscribing. Until next week, this is Alan Begg from McMaths signing off. See ya.